Yes, people, how are we doing? Ricky here from Behind the Bars TV. Just down at Birmingham, down at the Arnold Fest, which is the Arnold Schwarzenegger Festival, which is a sports festival. Yeah, there's loads of people from the sports industry here. Eddie Hall, obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ronnie Coleman, quite a lot. Paddy the Baddy, too many to name. But even though it does look like when I'm sitting looking at this camera myself, looks like I might be sitting in an open prison, because that's what they look like sometimes. Sitting next to the window with your pad mates having a cuppa. Not that I've been in a Cat D, but I've seen what they look like. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about, because a few of my viewers and subscribers have been asking us, could you do a video on how to survive Cat A prisons? So you're going to get what you're asked for, and I'm going to talk you through how to survive Cat A prisons and the difference between Cat A's, Cat B's, C's and D's. So when you get to your local prison, this is your first port of call when you go from the courts, is to your local prison. That's when you've been sentenced or you're waiting to go to trial. But if you've been sentenced, you're at your local prison. Sometimes you're only there a matter of weeks, unless there's a big hold up of shipments from the prison. But once you've been sentenced, you get categorised. And you get categorised as either A, B, C or D. And local prisons are normally either Cat A's or Cat B remand jails. My local is Durham, which is now a Cat B, but it used to be a Cat A, and it did used to have a high security unit inside of it, which has held the likes of Charles Bronson and is it Mick Vicker from the film when he escaped from prison. I know Roy Shaw's been in there, and I'm not sure if the Crays were in the unit there either, but there's been some quite high profile faces in Durham on that unit. So anyways, when you get categorised, even if you get categorised as category B, you can still go to a Cat A prison. Because I was category B and I went over to Frankland. So the difference, Cat B's the local prisons now, it's full of, a lot of the time it's full of whoppers, what I would call whoppers, muppets. And what I mean by this is the way that they go on. They just act on themselves constantly, they're playing up. Anyone that's been to prison will know what I'm on about when I'm saying whoppers, muppets. But some of them are still canny lads, I'm not saying they're not, but the way they go on, you know who to avoid and who to speak to and who to avoid. And then when you get to the Cat A prisons, the majority of them in there are just in there to do their own time, get on with it. They just want a quiet life, do the time, because they've got a big stretch, and the last thing they want is stress and aggro with other people, especially on the wing when you're living with people. It's a small, some of these wings you can't avoid people on them. But when you get to the Cat A prisons, you've just got to represent yourself properly, conduct yourself correctly, and what I mean by that is show respect to people where respect is due. Because like I say, the majority, 90% of the people in there are decent people. You'll get on with the majority of them. But the thing, when you're walking through a Cat A prison, or if you're settled in on the wing and you're walking up the wing, the majority of the time, 90% of the people you get on with. You might be a few that you don't really speak to or you don't know, or they're in for some crazy crimes and people don't really speak to them, but they just let them get on with their own thing. So we see you walking down the wing and you're going to pick your lunch up, or you're walking down to the office to put your name down for the gym or whatever. You're walking past people on the wing all the time, but I'll give you a little example. If you're walking past someone, and it's someone that you walk past every day, because nearly, like I say, I've mentioned 90%, I'm saying 90% again, when you're walking up the wing and you walk past them, you always acknowledge them. It's either, even though you might not speak to them, you might just go to either like a little like that, or lift your head up, just an acknowledgement to say alright. And that means when you're walking past, you can, that's just like alright mate, sign of respect really, but you might not even talk. Or you walk past your pals that you do speak to and you're just going alright. So Say you're walking up one day and a lad that you normally speak to, you walk past him, you look at him, he looks at you and he just looks down or he looks away and he doesn't go his usual like that. A little incident like that can set you fucking off or set them off. You're thinking, the fuck's the matter with him? Why is he blanking us where? And then this is situations I'm on about that can escalate, blow out of control, because later on you might walk past again, or you might be in a bad mood, or they're in a bad mood, and they do it again, and you're like, start shouting, what the fuck's your problem? Why are you blanking us? And then if they're hot-headed and they shout back, boosh, it's like an explosion going off. You're fucking going at it on the wing. And these are the types of things I'm saying in cat ears, how to survive. You've got to like keep to your routine, stick to your composure, and when you're walking past the people, it's like that, you're upping knowledge. So incidents like that can get you seriously hurt. But also, just do your own thing, crack on. Like I say, the biggest, most thing is respect in them prisons. If you disrespect, then you're in for a bad time. You're gonna get hurt. If you disrespect someone in any way, because the egos in the high security estates are massive. And if you fucking din someone's ego in there, you're gonna be bang in trouble. So always show respect. Keep your head down. Don't get involved with drugs, because if you start, the lads that are on the drugs, they get involved with drugs, they can't pay the debts, then something's going to happen. It's not getting left. It's not getting brushed under the carpet. You're not saying, oh, fuck you. You're not getting any more drugs. You're not here. Don't come back. It doesn't work like that. If you're not paying your debt, you've showed a sign of disrespect, then they're going to get hurt. But it's not the person it's not the top dog, that's whoever's doing the stuff on the wing. It's not them that's going to hurt you. It's them that's going to put the hit on you or whatever. But it's the lads further down the pecking order, the ones that are on the drugs and they haven't got money to buy the drugs. It's always the ones that have got nothing that are on the drugs. The big money people in prisons in the high security estates, they're not the ones on the drugs. It's always the ones further down that have got no money that are on the drugs, and when they can't afford it and they die for the next fix, what's going to happen is they're going around, they're asking people, do you want anyone done? So if someone's not paid the debt, one of these people are going to be coming after you, and it could just be for 1 bag, 2 bags of smack, or subbies or spice or whatever's in the prison at the time, because these drug addicts, the ones that are on it all the time, they'll do anything for a fix. But when they're coming after you, they're not just going to come up and punch you. They're going to be they're going to cut you or they're going to stab you, and that's what's going to happen to you. Then you're getting shipped off the wing. Or another thing that happens, which happens a lot when people don't want to use violence and they just want the situation solved where they don't want the person on the wing any longer, is to get the pad shitted up. And I've seen this happen a few times. What happens is, obviously, you get a bucket, a couple of lads shit in the bucket, piss in the bucket, mix it all up, put a load of water in, so you've got half a bucket of piss, shit and water. Someone goes in the pad and just swirls the bucket all over the pad, all over the belongings. Everything's ruined. The pad gets taped off. It gets the yellow tape across the door, and the pad's no longer in use until the outside team comes in and fumigates the place, obviously because of disease control and stuff, and the smell that comes off it is absolutely rank. There was a kid 2 pads up from me, got his pad shitted up, and you knew halfway down the wing what had happened, because that's all you can smell. But that's some of the ways that people get you off the wing. In the high security estate, some of the prisoners have got budgies, little pet birds, and one of the lads that didn't pay his bill went back one day, been down to get his scran, went and picked his dinner up from the servery, went back to his pad, and he couldn't hear his little budgie chirping on. It was no longer in the cage. He's opened his he was looking all over for it. He thought it had escaped. But then when he went to his toilet, he got banged up over dinner. Obviously the screw shut your door and they said your budgie's not out on the landing, because sometimes the budgies used to fly out the door onto the landing and the lads were fucking chasing the budgies up and down the wing, chucking toilet rolls up, trying to get it back into the pad. Used to be quite hilarious that, watching people chasing the little budgie around. But anyways, over dinner, when he got banged up, he went to use his toilet, he picked his toilet lid up, went for a piss, and there's his budgie down the toilet with no head on. Bang. Someone had ripped the head off, chucked it down the toilet. That's what you're getting for not paying your debt. But obviously he's had this budgie for a long time. It's his little pet, so he's fucking absolutely devastated. But he should have paid his bills and then this things wouldn't have happened, you know what I mean? But yes, that's just some of the situations. But also in the high security estate, in the catties, what you should do is get yourself a job. There's loads to choose from. You can go into woodwork, bricklaying, education. I'd done a bricklaying course. I'd done level 2 and 3, I think it was, maths and English. I've done computer courses. I've done a drug and alcohol course. I've done everything in my power to better myself, and that's what you've got to do to get through your sentence. Not just for that, but also if you're going into prison, you want to come out a better person. You want to try and educate yourself. You want to have better life skills. You want to, like I say, get a better intelligence about you. But like I say, there's a computer shops, the wood shops, a brick shop, artwork. I used to go in the art class. I used to do portraits for my family back home, send them out, done oil paintings. I was actually quite good at them. But some of the lads in prison, they used to make a living from doing their art stuff. So some of the lads, they used to pay up to £40-50 for a portrait. Someone would give them a picture of the kids or family back home. They'd do a portrait, sell it for 40 quid, and they would send out the families. But that's how some people survive, getting through it. If they've got no money, they make sure they get something where they're going to start making a living. And that's how they survive in the catties. Some people do matchstick things. Matchsticks make horse and carriages and stuff like that. Different things that make anything out of matchsticks. That's how some people make a living in there. But some of the things that they do in there is absolutely ingenious. People become really creative when they're in there and they've got a long time to do. What was the other thing? Some of the lads that were doing tattoos. There wasn't loads getting done, but there was some of the lads, I think they were getting the ink from the art class, and they were making themselves little tattoo guns. I remember one lad, he got a big, it was on the back of his calf, big Liverpool badge, Scouser kid. It looked really good, dark ink, but it was red for months and just itchy. He said it was irritating him like mad. It was fucking horrible. He said he wished that he'd never gotten it done. But that's just some of the things that you've got to do to survive the catties. And also you've got to stand your ground if someone tries to come on you, tries to fuck on with you, try to bully you, try to victimise you. You cannot just let it happen, because then you're going to get tortured. But if some of the other lads see it going on and they see bullying isn't really tolerated in the catties. There's a couple of bullies I've seen got the comeuppance and they got hurt really bad, got moved off the wing, stabbed up. This is the things that happens. You get hot oil tipped over you, you get stabbed up, or you get shitted up and you get moved off the wing. So bullies aren't tolerated in the catties. So, but it can go on underhand where, because you can go in people's pads and shut the door behind you, and there is things that go on in them pads that other people don't see, and people are getting tortured and victimised. So you've got to actually stand up for yourself and not take no shit at all, because you will become a victim, and that's not what you want in them prisons when you're serving a big amount of time. So that's about it for surviving the catties. I think there's loads more that I could keep going on and on, but they're the main things. Keep off the drugs, or if you're on the drugs, pay your debts. Get yourself an education, get yourself in the gym, go down the gym as many times as you can a week. You can get there sometimes 6-7 times a week, nearly every day if you want. Get out on the exercise, get as much fresh air as possible, but get down the gym, get yourself fitter, both physically and mentally, and that is going to get you through your sentence. But I'll leave that one there for now, people. If you do like the content, remember to like and subscribe. I'm nearly up to 10,000 followers. I'm going to be dropping my first interview soon. Well, as soon as it hits that 10k mark. But I've got a whole load of new people lined up for interviews. So keep watching, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.